Um, I look forward to any and all questions that you guys have. We're gonna let Dave Shelstead run our presentation tonight. He's our current 8th grade counselor and will be our 6th grade counselor. So, Dave, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Sinninger. I'd also like to welcome all our future North 6th grade Eagles. We're excited to have you folks all join us at North next year. We're looking forward to the time when we can all actually see each other face to face. But for now, we're going to tell you lots of good information about North, and we do welcome all of your questions. As you can see here on this slide, we have a picture of North. Hopefully, a lot of you have been there before, been by there, but if you haven't, we'll give plenty of opportunities for you to get to know our building. In 6th grade, there are a number of classes that you will have at North, and some of them are probably similar to the same classes that you had in 5th grade. Next year in science, we have what's called Earth Science, where you learn about rocks, you learn about the Earth's interior, about volcanoes and earthquakes and weather and atmospheres. We study all about the stars and galaxies and planets. So it's really a neat curriculum learning about the Earth. And then as you move along in 7th grade, you'll have life science, where you learn about plant, animal, and human life. And then in 8th grade is physical science, when you learn more about atoms and forces and energy. Another course that all of you 6th graders will have next year is social studies. Next year in 6th grade, it is Minnesota history. So you will learn all about the history of Minnesota, the geography, the civics, the economy, everything that there is that you can learn about our state of Minnesota. There's some really neat units in there where you get to learn about Native Americans like the Dakota and Ojibwe tribes. You'll read some historical fictional novels from Minnesota. You get to do some really neat mapping of the state. You can see a picture here of kind of a map of some of the areas to explore in Minnesota. You'll learn about some major industries of Minnesota. You get to construct an early Minnesota town. And I love history of Minnesota because you do some really neat field trips. We bring all the kids out to St. John's for canoeing for a day. We do some orienteering. We have a speaker come in and talk about the fur trade. We even get to go out to Powder Ridge and doing some skiing and some snowboarding and tubing, which is a lot of fun. And we also in the spring have a Native American Day where we have a teepee and speakers talking all about Native American tribes of Minnesota. So Minnesota social studies, lots of fun next year. 7th grade then is American history. 8th grade is world geography. Language arts. You're all probably very familiar with language arts. You all have language arts for a full year next year. We focus on reading, short novels, and poetry. You get to do some of your own writing and looking up new words and asking what if questions. And you do a lot of storytelling and opportunities to use technology for a lot of that as well. And as most of you probably know, everybody at North does get a Chromebook. So I know in language arts, the teachers said they really use those a lot as part of their classes as well. Math. You're all familiar with math. Every year you have that. The majority of you next year in 6th grade will have Math 6. If your math scores on the MCA and the STAR and some of those other standardized tests are really high, some of you may be placed in pre-algebra next year. And then as you go along in math, you have algebra 1.1, 1.2, and then eventually you could even go as high as geometry at North. And so we do have math for a full year at North. Now, before I go along, I just wanted to remind you again, like Mr. Nutter said, as you are thinking of questions as we're going through it, you can see the address there, bit.ly/North question. And we'd love to answer your questions if we don't during the presentation. Allied arts classes for sixth grade. These are courses that all sixth graders will have an opportunity to take part in next year at North. We have art, which many of you are probably very familiar with, Gear Up, Tech, Avid, and Chinese immersion. Now, some of you, if you're at Madison right now, might actually be in the Chinese immersion class already. So you're pretty familiar with that. We do have Chinese immersion continuing at North with Mr. Ying. You will continue to learn to read and write and listen and speak in Chinese. We work a lot on cross-cultural communication. There's a special Chinese immersion concert that they have, and it looks like there's a picture of some kids putting on a concert here. And as most of you know, we do have a China trip when you get to be an eighth grader. And hopefully by the time you're in eighth grade, I think things in the world will be much more normal and we'll be able to do all of those neat trips again. So if you're currently a fifth grader in Chinese immersion at Madison, that will continue at North next year. Avid. Avid is a really neat program that we started at North and at a lot of our schools a few years ago. It stands for Advancement via Individual Determination. And it's a course that helps to prepare all students for college readiness and success. As you can see on the slide there, they focus a lot on organization. You get an agenda planner, a special binder for Avid just to organize your classes. You learn about time management and goal setting. You learn about how to take notes so that you can remember what the teachers have talked about, and using things such as color coding and how to monitor how you're doing in classes. And this is a really neat statistic that you should all look at on here. Why take Avid? College completion rates. The average student, only about 56% of the average students will complete college. If you are an Avid student and take Avid in junior high, and you can also take it in high school, 89% of those students complete their college degree. So Avid statistics are phenomenal for leading to success, not only in middle school, but high school and beyond. Art. Many of you are very familiar with art. You have that at your elementary schools as well. At North next year, we have both 2D and 3D, which is two-dimensional and three-dimensional art. The teachers have you do things such as watercolor painting, drawing, printmaking. In 3D art, you do things like with clay and sculpturing and paper mache and origami. And if you come into North, you'll see lots of different art displays around the building, and many of the art projects you can bring home as well to show your parents. So art is really a neat class for doing a lot of fun, creative things. Gear Up. Gear Up is a new class that we just started at North a year ago. Gear Up focuses on a couple different areas, learning about your skills and interests and the world of career choices. Who am I? What do I want? How do I achieve what I want? What are the skills and interests that I have that fit for different careers? And then what do I need to do as far as classes and schoolwork if I'm interested in that career? We're not expecting you to pick a career in middle school, but it's fun to kind of look at different careers that your skills and interests might be a good fit for. And that's something that you'll learn about in Gear Up class. Technology, always a fun class at North. If you look at the pictures there, you can see we've got a really neat tech lab. We've got a computer lab, a full lab where you can make things out of woods and metals and plastics. You can see on a table there, they've got a few of our robots that kids work on in robotics. And later, Mr. Eisenreich, I'm guessing, will be talking about that some. Lots of neat projects. I know that even the teachers today were just racing some cars that they had developed in technology. So it's a neat class for learning how to build and create different items. I know some of the things the kids have done are kites. They've done duct tape rockets, hot air balloons, and cars, like I was talking about. Music. Everybody at North will have an opportunity to take music next year. You get to pick which music is right for you. So, this is one area where you really want to focus on what music would be a good fit for me next year at North. One of our music classes is band, and you can see some of the instruments there, and they're shown down below. You've got flute and trumpet and clarinet and trombone. And as it says there, you will even have more instrument options in your second year of music. We never want money to be an issue. If there's an instrument that needs to be rented, we help you out with that, or our music teachers will have instruments for you to use. So if you're interested in trying an instrument in band, these are some of the ones that you can look at. Also, band is performance based, and so we do have 3 concerts in band every year. Orchestra, another really neat performance-based music class. The 4 different instruments in orchestra are viola, violin, cello, and bass. And you can see our teacher on there, Miss Stiles, who will be joining us at the end. She'll be able to answer any music questions you may have as well. Also in orchestra, you will have 3 concerts, which are really fun because you get to perform in front of students and you can also perform in front of your parents. Choir. Most of you have probably done a little singing as a group in your 5th grade music class. You can see here all the kids practicing their singing. We've got soprano and alto and tenor and bass. Don't worry, you don't have to sing in solos all by yourself or anything. You normally sing as a group, but if you like to sing, choir might be a neat class for you. And choir also has 3 different concerts throughout the year where parents can come and enjoy your performances. And then we also have a making music class, and we do a lot of drumming in there. As you can see, we've got drums showing on there. The kids really enjoy this class too. You learn some drumming from the Caribbean, from South America, from Africa. Really, the music class is about making music, and we want all of our kids to have that opportunity to enjoy and learn music while they are at North. Physical education. All of the kids at North do have gym, and this year, Phi Ed and music rotate every other day. So you have them all year, every other day. You can see the kids here exercising, warming up. There's lots of neat lessons and units that you have in physical education. Things like football and soccer and kickball, team elimination, foot golf, pickleball, weightlifting. We've got a really nice weight room that a lot of kids like to use, and they use it as part of the gym class to learn how to lift weights properly. They do floor hockey and badminton. You can see the ping pong tables on there, as that's one of the units they do too. You can see our young lady doing some curls over there on the bar. So lots of good things to keep your body moving while you're at North as well. The only thing you need for gym class is athletic shoes. You need to have tennis shoes. And then a lot of kids do bring water bottles with them too. Now, once again, a reminder, if you have questions, here's the link again, bit.ly/North question. And we do welcome those questions. At the end of the presentation, we'll make sure we take the time to answer all questions if we don't cover them or if you just need a little more clarification. Lunchtime. Lots of people say lunch is their favorite class. I think lunch was always my favorite class in school. And I have to tell you, in all my years at North, I never hear kids complain about lunch. Our cooks do a great job with the lunchroom. We have 2 or 3 regular lunch lines, so there's a lot of variety every day. You just use your regular ID like you do at your elementary school, and there's 2 or 3 different lunch options for you every day. Most days, there's also a salad bar if you like salad with different toppings. We also have an a la carte line for lunch where if you bring in your own money, you can buy extra things like juices or a cookie or some kind of a special treat if you want to get something extra. I always tell students, well, start raking leaves, shoveling snow, doing some stuff to earn a little money if you want to buy extra things at lunchtime. The media center. We've got a really nice media center that has lots of different resource material and books. I know the teachers are down in the media center a lot when kids are working on projects, they're doing research, they have special classes down there. And so it's a nice place to go for getting resource materials. And right across from the media center, we do have one of our 2 computer labs as well that you can access at North. Now I'm going to show you a few of our people at North. If you look on the left there, Mr. Nutter, our principal, introduced himself. I don't know, Mr. Nutter, if he was returning from a trip to Florida or something here, but I can see he's got himself all decked out there. And then on the right side, you can see Mr. Sininger, who also introduced himself. He is our assistant principal. Both of these gentlemen are there to help you if you ever need anything while you're at North. School counselors. Mr. Shelstead, that's me over on the left. I'll be the 6th grade counselor next year, so I will have all of you. And to be honest, really starting right now, I really consider all of you 5th graders my students from here on out. So I am always here to help, answer questions, whatever you need. We have Miss Olson in the middle. She'll be the 7th grade counselor next year. And Mr. Rude is our 8th grade counselor next year. We work real closely with parents and teachers to really help kids to be successful at North. We work with registration, which is kind of part of the process we'll be starting later this spring, with schedules, with grades, personal issues, anything we can do to help our kids have a successful 3 years while they're at North. And one nice thing about us is we stay with the kids all 3 years. So I'll be real fortunate. I'll get to have all of you 6th graders next year for 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade when you're at North. Down below there, you can see our office staff. They are wonderful, helpful ladies. We have Stacy and Lisa and Wanda, who are always there to help kids with any needs that they have, or parents as well. Dean of students. Each grade also has a dean. Mr. Morris on the left there, he and I work real closely together. He is our 6th grade dean. He focuses a lot if kids are having behavioral issues that they need a little help with, or if they're having trouble getting to school or getting to class, he's real good about helping kids get back on track, and we work real closely together. Miss Hummerding is our 7th grade dean next year, and Mr. Cruz is 8th grade. Actually, Mr. Cruz is 7th grade next year, and Mr. Hummerding is 8th grade next year. But Mr. Morris and I will have all of you 6th graders next year. Some other real helpful gentlemen here that we have is Mr. Abdi Abukar and Mr. Abdi Hassan. A lot of you may know them better as Delmar and Jerry. They're our bilingual communication specialists. They help us with our communication with families and working with students. They mentor a lot of our kids. They are very helpful gentlemen in working with a lot of our students at North. And down below there, you can see our SEL team. That's our social emotional support team. Lots and lots of people there to help with academic support, mentorship for students, anything that we can do to help make your 3 years at North successful and a good experience for you. We do have a couple nurses in our health office. Miss Sarah Degree is our head nurse, and Melissa Kitzmiller, Miss Kitzmiller, is our associate nurse. Now, this is a part of the presentation I know that everybody always likes when I present to the fifth graders. What kind of activities can you get involved in at North? So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to our activities director, Mr. Charlie Eisenreich, and he's going to talk to you a lot about North activities.
Thank you, Mr. Shelstad. Good evening, everybody. It's certainly a privilege for me to be here tonight with all of you. Again, my name is Charlie Eisenreich. I'm the director of middle school activities, so not only for North Junior High, but also for South as well as Kennedy. So I oversee all the district middle school activities. You know, first off, I just wanted to start that we truly believe that the opportunity to participate in activities wide variety of student activities at the middle school level is really and should be part of the students' overall educational experience. We know that students learn a great deal when they're involved in activities. It helps with their healthy self-concept as well as gaining that healthy body at the same time. So I just want to take a few moments to get into more specifics about each one of our activities that we have here. First off, on the screen, you have what we call our North academic activities and clubs. You'll see that we have several things that take place throughout the school year, as well as more season specific, all the way from fall play to art club, knowledge bowl. We truly believe that each and every one of our incoming sixth graders should get involved in at least one of these activities. And in fact, you can become involved in more than one at the same time. If you're out for a sport or an athletic event, you can also be involved in one of these activities at the same time. Our coaches and our advisors really work hand in hand together to ensure that you get the best possible experience with each one of those. And again, I know Mr. Shelstad pointed out that that robot in the picture earlier. We have a great VEX Robotics program here that meets all year long. They have several competitions throughout the year. And what's great is they combine with the Apollo team, and the Apollo kids actually come over to North here to run their practices and also do their competitions. So that's one of the few high school programs that are actually held right here at North Junior High. So as far as the fee that goes along with that, it's $40 for the activity fee and $10 if you're free and reduced. The only exceptions to that would be drama and robotics, a little more expensive there due to some operational costs associated with that. Next slide, please. All right, so the first portion of the athletic activities that I want to speak to are just the North only athletic activities. And those are those activities that are held right here on campus at North. You see what we have for fall upcoming with football and girls volleyball and boys and girls soccer. We do start the year prior to kids coming back into the building. And I know this year was obviously different with our hybrid start to the school year, but in general, we do start those activities before school actually begins. In the winter, we do host our boys and girls basketball, as well as we're planning on a weightlifting activity as well. And in the spring, we offer boys baseball along with girls softball, and then boys and girls track. I should note that that all North only activities will have a sixth grade component except for football. And some of you might be participating in that this past fall. Our sixth grade football is currently operated through community education. It's a fifth and sixth grade program. So again, you'll need to contact community ed for further information there. But again, be looking forward to seventh and eighth grade football at North. And we hope that everybody can take part in that, as well as any of our other athletic only activities here at North Junior High. Next slide, please. And then I also want to point out to the athletic activities that we combine over with Apollo High School. And these are our 7 through 12 programs. Now, it says grades 7 through 12 for a reason, because at the high school level, it is all operated and organized through the Minnesota State High School League. And the High School League only covers grades 7 through 12. And again, you can see the various activities there in the fall, from girls tennis to adapted soccer. We have a trap team that we cooperate with Apollo with as well. In the winter, we get boys swimming to wrestling, dance team, adaptive floor hockey, our Nordic skiing program, as well as hockey. And then in the spring with tennis, boys and girls golf, as well as adaptive softball, and then our trap team comes back into it. I should note that if you are involved in one of these 7-12 programs, generally speaking, you are participating at Apollo High School. The athletic fees are a little bit more expensive there, at $140 for per sport, or $35 if you're on free and reduced. If you're involved in a North only program, such as the football at North or boys and girls soccer, those fees are $80, and then $20 for those that are on free and reduced. I should also mention here that if you are participating in a program at Apollo, there will be an after-school shuttle bus that will take you to Apollo for those practices. So that's a neat opportunity that we have for the parents out there. You don't have to shuttle your kids to North or from North to Apollo. We'll have that shuttle transportation available for you. And I should also mention as well, if you're involved in 6th grade through 8th grade sports only at North, we do have an after practice shuttle bus that we often will utilize to bring you home as well. So, and that's an option that we have for families in the event that you need that transportation. So, again, a real privilege for me to be here tonight to be able to talk a little bit of activities. I'll stick around for those questions at the end, and I'll turn it back to Mr. Shellstead.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Eisenreich. And I can say too, parents and students, I find year after year, our kids that do the best in school, that enjoy school the most, are the kids that get involved in some of our activities. They're really neat. You don't have to have ever tried it before. It's just a great time to meet some new people and learn a new skill. So really encourage those kids, like Mr. Eisenreich said, to get out there and try some of our activities. As you can see here, we have a couple programs that kind of promote leadership. If you're a student who works hard in school and you're responsible in the classroom, in the hallway, at the bus, all throughout school, you can earn what's called the Responsibility Perk Pass. I'm holding one there. They're not quite that big, but that's what they look like. If you want to be part of our FAB crew, Friends Against Bullying, we have a couple hundred kids every year that are part of that program, building community, encouraging positive behavior, and being your best each day. Another great program for leadership at North. A really important thing for you to know as 6th graders is 8th graders we have set up to be web leaders for you. Web stands for Where Everyone Belongs. So next year in 6th grade, you will have 1 or 2 8th grade leaders that first day of school, where it's just for 6th grade, those 8th graders will be there to kind of help show you around, help you to get to know the school a little bit better, and they will meet with you throughout the year. So it's kind of neat to have a couple older upperclassmen there to help you through your starting at North next year. And you can see we plan lots of fun activities. I don't think that's Mr. Nutter there, but I have seen him do the limbo before, and I think he can get just about that low on it. Now, here you can see we do have some other special days, Hat Day and Spirit Week and activity days. You know, we take school serious for our academics, but we do have a lot of fun to a lot of fun too. And as you look here, you maybe even recognize some of these kids. I sure recognize some of them who are ninth, 10th, 11th grade now over at Apollo. And you can see us all having fun. You can see me in the upper left-hand corner there when I was growing my hair out a little longer. Mr. Rude, one of our counselors in the middle there. I think Mr. Nutter, that's one of his favorite sport jackets that he likes wearing. He looks so nice there. And you can see part of our school play. We've got a couple of folks there all dressed up. So we do definitely have fun at school as well. And now here you can see on our sign, I think that kind of sums up North. Be yourself, but be your best self. And parents, you can see my contact information there. Like I said, I'm Dave Shelstead. I'll be the counselor next year. You've got my phone number, email on there. If you forget any of that, just call North and they'll patch you through. You can email me anytime. Like I said, I consider your sixth graders now really my students starting now. And then once again, now we've got an area at the bottom there. If you have questions, bit.ly/North question. So I don't know, Mr. Sininger or Mr. Nutter, if we've had any questions come in yet.
We have. Yeah, Mr. Shelstead, you've done a great job. And we have had a few questions come in. So I'm just going to kind of go right down the list. And Dave, I'm going to ask you to help answer this first one because it might require a little bit of an explanation on what we do with clustering in sixth grade. So the question was, are there still honors classes at North and how do we register students for them?
Yep. Okay. Excellent question. The first answer is yes, there are honors classes. In sixth grade, the only honors class that we have is math, is the only upper level class that we have in sixth grade. We look at sixth grade as our transitional year from elementary school. So if your math aptitude on the MCA STAR test, some of those is very high, Laura Stebner at our district office, our district gifted and talented coordinator, she sends me a list of all of those students. She will contact the parents, and she's the one who determines for me which students will be in that high math class, which would be the pre-algebra class next year. Most of our kids are just in the regular sixth grade math. We do have clusters, and what that means, and I'm impressed whatever parent is asking this, you've either had kids before or really know it because it's a new program we started a couple years ago, is where we take clusters of kids to make sure we have groupings of our high achiever kids together throughout the day in classes. So I will have a cluster of 5 high achiever kids that move together in science and language arts and social studies so that they can kind of feed off each other. And then the teachers can differentiate for those students to make sure that we keep challenging them within those classes. Then in 7th grade and 8th grade, we have honors courses added in language arts, in social studies, and in science. And so 7th and 8th grade, after 6th grade, and we get to know the kids and through the clustering, then we will be adding all of those honors courses in both 7th and 8th grade.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, Mr. Shelstead. All right, we've got about 10 more questions, so I'm going to start kind of going through them a little quickly. I will answer the ones that I have answers to, and I'll put the other ones to my team if I can't answer them. So next on the list is, how many allied arts classes can we take each year? Is it one a try if we aren't in immersion? And that's a great question and a partial answer right there in the question. So yeah, students that are not in our Chinese language immersion program, the allied arts classes are on a trimester rotation, so you'll get a different allied arts class each trimester. So you'll get 3 different allied arts classes, 1 each trimester. So the next question is, what date is registration? And Dave, is there any specific information you want to provide on registration? I can speak to those 742 families that are current 5th grade families. The registration is pretty much an automatic process for you if you're a Northside family based on your address. For families that are outside of 742, you'll have to register through the Welcome Center. But Dave, I'll go ahead and have you provide any additional details that families might need for that.
Yep, you're right on, Mr. Nutter. First of all, I want to say if you are currently at one of our feeder schools, the Discovery, Madison, Westwood, Lincoln, I've already got your names. I got 294 fifth graders already on. So you don't have to worry. We're not going to miss your kiddo. If you're not at one of our feeder schools, if you're coming from the other side of town, like an Oak Hill or a Talahi, please make sure you stop at the Welcome Center to register your student if you want them to come to North. If you are not currently in District 742, like Mr. Nutter said, please stop by our Welcome Center over by Culver's on the other side of town and get your student registered. Certainly, if you have questions before you do that, I'm more than happy to answer those questions and kind of walk you through a little bit more about our district, because I know there's a lot of questions on that.
Thank you. All right, next question is an easy one. Showering after gym. Do students normally do that in junior high? The answer to that is no. We don't have showers anymore, so students do not take showers after they're done with physical education class. Next question is there a debate club? Charlie, is there currently a debate club at North? I know we have speech, but I also know that's quite different than debate.
Yeah, right now it's just speech. We don't have a debate club. However, we're always looking at expanding our opportunities to provide for our kids. So we could certainly take a look at that if we know we have enough student interest.
Thank you. Next question. How many periods within the day? Also an easy one to answer. We have 6 periods in our school day. So kids are taking 6 different classes each day. Next question. Do students change clothes for gym? And the answer for that one is yes. Most of the students do change clothes for gym. And that does vary a little bit from school to school. I know it's not a requirement at South Junior High. And it's also, I would say, not a strict requirement at North, but it's strongly encouraged that students have some athletic wear to change into for PE since they will be moving in class. And sometimes the clothing that students wear to school may kind of get in the way sometime of the physical activity that's taking place in the gymnasium. So again, some physical active wear is preferred for gym classes, and there are locker rooms where students can change. And so they'll have time before class starts and time at the end of class to change. Next question. I think it's already been answered. It was another question about registration. Another one about registration. How many elective classes can students take during the year? So again, that one is kind of a repeat of the prior question. So it's going to be that rotational basis.
Brian, or Mr. Nutter, I'm just going to butt in. I know the one thing that we talked about that you need to be thinking about is music choices for next year. And maybe Ms. Stiles, do you want to just speak to that? Because I know we're going to be working on a plan to kind of get out there and expose kids to different musics.
Hello, 5th grade families. My name is Miss Stiles. I am one of the 3 music teachers at North Junior High. We offer several different music options, and your child will get to choose which music option that they are going to pick. And it's really their one big choice in middle school. And we are going to be working with your elementary music teachers to present you the different options for what instrument you might get to choose to play in 6th grade. So if you want to play the violin, viola, cello, or bass, one of our 4-string instruments, you'll end up in my music class in orchestra. If you want to play band, you'll get to choose between the clarinet, the flute, the trombone, and the trumpet, and you'll be in Mr. Sylvester's class, and you will get the opportunity to get to test out on each of those instruments to see if it's the right fit for you. As Mr. Shelstad said, if you want to get to know your voice better, if you really like to sing, you'll get to choose that option to be in the ensemble for choir. And we are we're getting videos of a current North students and current Apollo students to show you in your classrooms of what these classes look like and why different students choose what they're looking for. The instruments that they chose when they were in 6th grade and had to make this decision like you are now. If you're saying, I really am not sure that I want to play an instrument in 6th grade, I'm not really sure that I want to perform, then our making music class might be the right option for you. We really allow students to explore hearing different styles of music, playing different world instruments such as drums and maracas and xylophones. And we do a lot of music listening in that course. So if you've got any questions, you can reach out to Mr. Shelstad or Mr. Nutter, and they'll direct those questions directly to the music department, and we'll get back in touch with you. Thank you.
Hey, Mr. Nutter, one of those questions on registration was if someone wanted to register the kid and they're currently at Stride Academy, then they would just go to our Welcome Center and register them through the Welcome Center at our district offices.
Yep, that is correct, Mr. Sininger. Thank you.
All right, and I think we made it through all of our questions, and we are out of time. So in case any additional questions come in here in the next few minutes, I'm going to ask Mr. Sininger to stick around, and he'll answer any questions that might come up in the next few minutes. And then I will ask the rest of my staff here on the presentation to just hop over to our Spanish language presentation, which is going to be starting soon. And then I do want to thank all of our 5th grade families for joining us tonight. I think it was a huge success. We were at or near 50 families joining us there for the meeting. If you didn't get a question answered, please feel free to reach out to Mr. Shelstad or reach out to me or Mr. Sininger, and we'd be happy to answer your question. There was one question I did see come in about will there be an opportunity for an in-person school tour? With COVID restrictions right now for distance learning, I don't know that will happen anytime in the near future. I certainly would love for that to happen before the end of this school year, if possible. We will certainly open the school for you to take a tour if we're able to do that safely, and I will look forward to seeing each and every one of you then. So again, thank you for joining us tonight. I really appreciate you being here. And to the 5th graders out there, I want to say that I am even more excited to see you here next year as a North Eagle. Have a great night, everybody.